there. Let me just actually bring up the web application for you and go to trading opportunities. Okay, so now performance statistics, you can see over here we have the different tabs on the top of this web platform, the web application, and it might look a little bit different to how your brokers look, because this is the Autochartist default direct web application. So sometimes your broker has different products to what we have here, but it's generally the same. And as you can see, the tabs, you've got our favorites, trading opportunities, okay, etc. And you can see here we have performance statistics. And we have a whole bunch of performance statistics here. And this is based on 6 months of statistics. I'm going to go into this a little bit further, but it's updated every now and then. And you can see here the period. What we do is we measure the success rate of the last 6 months or so of all our trading opportunities. So all the trading opportunities that you see on this tab over here, we measure the success rate of them and we put them in the performance stats. And before we get into the actual performance statistics themselves, I have to show you what exactly we do measure and what exactly we do not measure with regards to the stats. So as you can see down here, we have different types of chart patterns. We have chart patterns, Fibonacci patterns, and key levels. And then each one of these patterns is broken up into completed or emerging or breakouts and approaches. So let's just start with chart patterns. So what I do is I come here and I click on completed chart patterns. And you can see a completed pattern is you've got your green and blue line, your support and resistance, and then you have a breakout, and you have an arrow pointing to a line and a gray box. And the breakout is when the trading opportunity comes up on your screen on the web platform, and the arrow points to where Autochartist expects price to go, the forecast region. So this is the first type of performance statistics, the first type of chart pattern that we do measure for performance statistics. And what we do is we measure this, and as soon as it hits the gray box down here, we consider that to be a success. And if price comes down and doesn't hit that gray box, it's not considered a success. But that's the first type of chart that we do have statistics for. Then we have what we call emerging patterns. Now, emerging patterns are different because it hasn't broken out of the green and blue line, out of the support and resistance lines yet. It's still trading within these lines. And therefore, as you can see here, this yellow line across here, you can see that's the forecast region. And as you can see by this yellow line, if price comes up and hits this yellow line at any stage within this pattern, it would be considered a success. The only problem is we cannot measure it because the price is a moving target. So if I come here, and let me just get a pen. So let's say, for example, price came down and then came up and hit it at this level. So, okay, that's a success, according to Autochartist saying it's going in that direction. But if it came down and came up and then only hit it at that yellow line over there, further on in time, it would have hit it at a lower price. And because price is now a moving object, so to speak, we cannot give an exact measurement of when that is considered a success. So with regards to performance statistics, we do not measure that as a success or a failure, and therefore emerging patterns are not in statistics, performance statistics. Okay, then we have Fibonacci patterns. Now, Fibonacci was put into Autochartist really as a secondary type of pattern. It's not our main focus. Our main focus are really the support and resistance type chart patterns. And Fibonacci was just put in as an extra thing, and we don't really give it much attention, to tell you the truth. It's just, like I said, an extra thing, and therefore we don't really bother about performance statistics with it. I could say this because I've heard him say it himself in webinars. Our founder and CEO, Ilan Esbel, who created Autochartist, says himself that personally he doesn't rate these Fibonacci patterns, and therefore he doesn't bother about performance stats. So that's him talking and not me, and he hasn't said it on webinars before. But just to let you know that we don't have Fibonacci patterns in performance statistics. Okay, and then we have key levels. And key levels are similar to chart patterns in that they have a support and resistance level, and you have a target area. The only difference is that they are horizontal lines and they're drawn straight across. And for these, there are approaches and breakouts, and we do have performance stats for these types of patterns. So really the only performance stats that we don't have are for Fibonacci patterns and emerging chart patterns. The rest we all have performance statistics for. Now let me just tell you what's considered a success and what's not considered a success. Because let's be honest here, if you take these performance statistics and you take Autochartist and you use it as a signal tool and you take all the signals, chances are you're going to come out 50%. You're not necessarily going to win. And the reason for this is that we're not a signal provider, and these performance statistics you're going to see now, it's not so clear that you would get 67% if you actually, you see the success rate 67%. It's not clear that you're going to get that 67% if you just trade the signals. And I'm going to show you why right now. So if you come over to the MT4 over here, you can see it on the screen. You can see that there is a chart pattern here. And it's a little bit hard to see because there's a few other lines, the gray lines, but I want you to look at, you can see the pattern. It's a triangle, and you can see there's a green line and a blue line. And then you can see there was a breakout where I put this red line going down. Okay, that's where the breakout happened, and that's the chart pattern. And then you can see the forecast region. So the forecast region is over here. It's this gray box. And the pattern is between these green and blue, this green and blue line and the breakout. And Autochartist says it's going to go to this forecast region. Now, the forecast region, first of all, it's a price target. And second of all, it doesn't last forever. As you can see that this gray box is only a certain amount of candles long. And how Autochartist measures the forecast region, what it does is it will take the pattern and it'll take the length of the pattern. So that's how many candles were created inside that pattern. So if I take this and I draw across here to about the pattern length, you can see that it actually used about 100 candles to create that pattern. And then Autochartist will now create a forecast region about 100 candles long, about that same distance. You can see it's a little bit less because they have a few other equations that they put into this. But generally speaking, it will be the same distance as the number of candles within the chart pattern to the forecast region. Okay, so again, the forecast region, the gray box over here, is about the same length as the number of candles that created the pattern. You see here, that's about the length, and you can see it's about the same distance. So, would this pattern be considered a success or not? This pattern over here, would Autochartist consider this a success? And the answer is no, it wouldn't. And why is that? Because as price broke out, it went up and down, okay, kind of like consolidated, but it never hit the target region within the specified time. You can see recently it just hit the target region, but that was after the pattern already was not considered a pattern anymore because the gray box ended. Okay, so this would not be considered a success. This is considered a failure. So even though if you traded this, you might have stuck in with it and actually hit the forecast region yourself, from Autochartist's point of view, it's not considered a success. It's considered a failure. Now, if I can show you another pattern, let's just go back here. look for a better one because these are all crunched together. Okay, so here is one that is considered a success because you can see you have the pattern, you have the forecast region, this gray box, and you can see price hit the forecast region in the right amount of time. So that's considered a success. And all that I'm showing you here is exactly the same as on the web platform. If we come to the web platform and we go to a trading opportunity, you can see again you have the forecast region down here at the bottom after the arrow, but obviously because this is a picture and we want to make the pattern as clear as possible, we didn't draw that whole gray box out all the way onto your screen because it would take away from the picture. But Autochartist does know when this is considered a success or not. And you can see in expired trading opportunities, these are trading opportunities that either hit the region or haven't hit the region yet, but they're expired because price has gone past the expiry date, so to speak. And if I click on this, okay, no, that's not good. Let me get a better one. Okay, so this is considered expired because it hit the target region and therefore it went to the expired tab. Okay, so this one was considered a success. Okay, so that's just a brief introduction about what we considered a success and what we use in the performance statistics. And if we come to the performance statistics over here, now we're going to look at it more closely. And let's look at Forex. And we'll start with chart patterns. Now, what I want to do is I want to actually use this as if I was trading myself. And let's say I come to Autochartist and I want to almost create like a system that I can trade with Autochartist. And even though I said before that Autochartist is not a system, it's not a signal tool, but you know, you still want to use these performance statistics to get you started and to filter out all the bad trading opportunities. So let's say I want to start looking at this and trying to create my trading plan around this. So first of all, I can see here that 67% success rate. That means that in the last 6 months, there were 9,347 patterns. Okay, that's quite a lot of patterns that were found, and 6,251 were successful. Now, if we come down here, it breaks it down even more. So first we start off with the patterns. Okay, and you can see the different types of patterns we have in chart patterns. We have ascending, channel down, channel up, and all the classical chart patterns. Now, this actually brings me to a point that is very important, that Autochartist isn't something new. It's based upon charting theory and charting systems that have been around for almost probably over 100 years, and they've been around for a long time. And so it's nothing new. It's just basically automating what already exists with regards to support and resistance chart patterns. So as you can see here, you can see, if we look at these statistics, you can see already get a good idea of what works with Autochartist and what doesn't. So first of all, pennants, okay, they only have a 51 success rate. So I'm already going to take that out of my equation because I don't want to take this. It just statistically, pennants do not do well with regards to Autochartist automatically finding them. But what really does well, you can see in double bottoms have a 91% success rate. Now, the problem with this is that there were only 32, but this is already a good start. Okay, I'm going to start looking at these double bottoms with regards to my trading plan. What else does well? Inverse head and shoulders has an 84% success rate. And let's look for something else. Head and shoulders, 78%. So all these types of like horizontal types of chart patterns do very well with Autochartist, except the numbers are a little bit low. But you know, sometimes with trading, if you trade less is more, because if you don't trade, that means you have cash in the bank and you haven't lost your money. And if you just choose the best trading opportunities and you trade less, you'll find probably that you'll be more successful. So if over the last 6 months I traded 72 rectangles, 227 head and shoulders, 38 double tops, and channel downs also have a good success rate. That's about 75%, and there were 687 of them. So that's well over 1,000 trading opportunities that I could have traded in the last 6 months. That's more than enough. Okay, so already I could use those as my filter. But you can see that the others do pretty well. Also, ascending triangle, 72%. So most of them are in the 70% range. Then what I can do is I can look over here. Okay, there's a lot of these things that I'm not going to go into because of time-wise. I'm just going to show you what I really look at with regards to performance statistics. So what I like to look at is if you come down. So first of all, like I said, I would like to look at what I just showed you. Okay, the pattern. That's where I would start. Then I would come down to the performance statistics, and I would come right to the bottom. Okay, and this is interval hour of day, and this is a very important statistic to look at, because you can see over here that there's a huge difference between what it says here, okay, from 12 o'clock to 9 a.m. in the morning. Okay, there's about a 70% success rate. You can see all the green over here, hopefully. And then later in the day, from 12 o'clock till 7 o'clock, okay, you only have like a 50. It's all red, pink, okay? You do not have a good success rate in those hours. Now, very important, because a lot of people get confused here. This is GMT -4. So you have to work out how this works with regards to your time zones. But generally what I can say is that these success rates, so basically I think that's New York time. So you can see that these success rates, if I had to take South Africa's time, you're talking about from about 6 a.m. in the morning to about 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is really the London period going into the US session. That's when you're going to get the most success from Autochartist. But the Asian sessions, and when the US session starts to close down, you're not going to get such good success rate with Autochartist. Now, if I look at this also, I can also see that there's a slight difference between the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, but not very much difference. So the truth is I could trade all of the time zones, all of the time intervals, but myself, I'm got more of the gambler mentality, which is probably very bad, but I like to have action, and I like to be in and out of trade. So I don't like to trade the longer time frames. I like to trade the shorter time frames. So for me, I would focus on the 15 minutes. You might be different, and you might only focus on the longer time frames. But I prefer the 15 minutes. And if we come over here then, so let's say I've now looked at these performance statistics, and I've decided that I'm only going to trade head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, channel downs, double bottoms, and I would make a list of that. And I only want to do the 15 minutes, and I only want to trade during the London period, because that's what Autochartist shows as successful. So I'm going to come here now, and I'm going to look at the last 6 months, and I'm going to see in the 15 minutes what trading pairs did the best. And you can see AutoCAD has a 100% success rate in 15 minutes. So I'm going to use that. Swissy, okay, only has a 25% success rate in the 15 minutes. So I'm not going to look at that. And I'm going to go down this list, and I'm going to choose the pairs that have the most success rate, and I'm going to write them down and add them to my trading plan. And you can look at all these other things, but I suggest you do that when we finish this webinar. But I'm just giving you a basic overview of what I would do. And once I've written down all the different statistics that I want to look at, and I think would do well with my trading plan, I would come here to the trading opportunities, and I would click on New Search. And so, for example, let's say I chose, I want AutoCAD. Okay, I would type in AutoCAD in my symbol box, and I would choose 15 minutes, because again, that's what I want to trade. You can, whatever you want to trade, you can do differently. and I would come down here to advanced search, and I would deselect all these patterns, and then I would choose the patterns according to what I wrote down: the inverse head and shoulders, triple bottom, triple top, double top, okay, double bottom, channel down. I would also choose channel up, head and shoulders. Yeah, I mean, this is just a rough idea, and I would click create search. So now Autochartist is only going to show me the patterns on the 15 minutes of AutoCAD that I've chosen. And I'm not sure why it's not working now. I think it could be that I've got too many searches already, so it didn't create the search for me, but you get the idea. And let's say, okay, I've created that now, so now I want to create for Euro US dollar, because that also looked good, and I've already got all my patterns selected that I want already, and I would click again create search. And this would now bring it up over here in the searches box. It would create a new search, and it would only show me those successful patterns that fit into my strategy that I just created. And that's your overview. That's your overview of performance statistics. So do we have any questions before we end off? Are there any questions that you have on these performance statistics? Let's see here in the question box. No questions. Okay. I'll just give it a few moments to see if anyone wants to ask any questions. And again, it doesn't have to be about performance statistics. If you have any questions about Autochartist in general, now's your time to ask. Okay, well, no questions. All right. So if you do have any questions that come up later, you can email me. You can see there my email is at the top there. It's errol@autochartist.com. You can email me anytime you want with any question, or you can email support@autochartist.com with any queries that you have. And this webinar is recorded, so it will be put up on YouTube later. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/autochartist. Thanks so much for coming today to this webinar and listening, and I hope you're successful with your trading. Have a great day.